XOXO, got the girl. Pose. Good morrow and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, if you enjoy chaotic, frenetic energy and you also like makeup and music, then this is the place for you. My name is Audra and I'm really excited to do this video, and if you like what you see, I suggest you go ahead and subscribe, hit the notifications bell. That way you know whenever I'm making another worthless video talking about makeup or music or whatever the hell I want to do. All right, today I am really excited for this because I am going to be getting ready. I have a job interview and I figured I may as well just slide in a little bit of makeup while I do this. I'm going to make myself look work presentable. Sorry, I was like reaching for things. I was like, let me just reach. And today I am going to be using the Nomad Cosmetics America's Parks palette. Everything that is on my face will be listed in the description box below, many of which are affiliate links. And if that makes you uncomfortable, that it makes me a little bit of money so that I can continue to bring you fun content, then you don't have to use them, but I appreciate all of you who do. And this is the inside. So we're going to get work ready, work appropriate, and talk about some music that made a huge impact on me. But first, quick housekeeping. I have changed the name of this to Music, Makeup, and Memories or something of that effect, because another creator, Bethany Schmidt Aesthetics, actually has a makeup and music series that I just wasn't aware of. I follow them, but I don't get I put on the notifications, all that good stuff, but it didn't come through, and I want to make sure that, once again, I'm not one of those creators who maybe has a larger audience and then just steals something from a smaller creator. So Bethany, I love you. If you have not checked out their series, I highly suggest you do, because it's very informative and it always ends with a gorgeous makeup look. So let's get started. So this one is such a big deal to me because I grew up overseas. So I spent the majority of my formative years in Okinawa, Japan, and came to the States around 92. I feel like it was 1992. Oh my God, I'm so old. Anyway, that's about when I came to the US, and I felt very disconnected, not only just from like Americans, but from Black American culture. Because of the fact that I didn't understand a lot of this. At that time, there wasn't the internet the way that we view the internet now. And so, you know, everything took so long to get to Japan. So it's like there were shows and culture things, and specifically things like rap, that I just really was very far behind on. To give you an idea of how far behind I was, like, my understanding of rap was very much like MC Hammer
Can't touch this.
and Vanilla Ice.
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it.
All right, like I was sitting there just like,
I tour around the world.
from London to the Bay,
It's hammer, go hammer, empty hammer, yo hammer.
and the rest can go and play Can't Touch This. Like, I thought I was tops because I could do that. I was like, listen,
I am a rapper.
my feelings are hurt by how much I like thought that I was a bad bitch. And then, you know what, I was, but like, it's like kind of painful to realize, like, oh Audra. And so when I got here, you know, that kind of rap was still taking place. You know, the Kid and Play, you know, Kid and Play was kind of still going on. And then also you had Crisscross to make ya, the Mac Dad, I make ya, you know, like, so that was a thing. Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't rhyme like this. Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't, cause I'm the miggity 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 Mac Daggy. Like Daggy, I said Daggy instead of Daddy, but you get the picture. So I was used to, like, I would say, obviously I was only like 11 or 12, so I was used to like very kid-friendly rap, but also I did not, you know, I hadn't been in America, so the concept of like gangster rap and all of that just didn't make sense to me. And I felt so disconnected from Black culture in general because I didn't experience a lot of these issues growing up, you know what I mean? Because I grew up overseas on a military base, I did not experience racism. And honestly, if anybody was trying to be racist towards me there, it was so it was so subtle I didn't get it. Like I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with them. And it never occurred to me that anybody just didn't like me because I was brown. Do you know what I mean? So like I didn't experience that. And having not experienced it, I just didn't understand what was going on because I was like, no, but like you like someone for who they are. And you know, blah, blah. I didn't even really fully understand that I was black until I got to the United States. You know what I mean? So like, I just felt like I was a person when I was overseas. And then when I got to the States, it was like, no, you are black. And I was like, oh, okay, I got you. I'm black. And so I spent a lot of time feeling othered and different, especially because of little things, you know, other black people were mean to me. And it's very interesting watching, you know, Gen Z right now, as a lot of young black people be like, oh, just stop complaining about how like, you know, other black people were mean to you. But listen, I grew up in a different age and it still impacts me today. And it was a lot of work that I had to do to kind of unpack that feeling, right? To be able to connect with other black people and not feel scared in some ways, and not scared of black people, but scared of not being accepted. And so I spent a large amount of time working pretty hard trying to distance myself from other black people just because I was treated poorly. Now I'm in a small town in Texas at that point. And so all the black people, well, not all, but a large chunk of the black people that I would interact with would consistently call me a white girl and call me an Oreo and all of this kind of stuff. So it was very, very painful and difficult to deal with. And it was hard to grow up feeling like so damn othered and feeling like I couldn't connect. And I was just like, y'all, I didn't grow up here. Like, I don't know what it is you're going through. Enter The Chronic 2001, which came out in 1999. This album really changed my life. Like, I know people will say that about an album, but this one really, really did, because as I was mentioning before, a lot of it was like fun. When I got here, it was kind of like fun rap, but also at the same time, there was a lot of gangster rap, you know, going on. And I didn't understand anything going on with that at all because, again, grew up overseas. So I couldn't understand the concept of like why you would need this. And of course, when you're watching, you know, the news and the media is talking about, you know, gangster rap and black people as if we are monsters, and essentially just being like, yeah, well, you know, they're always rapping about, you know, killing and doing this. And it just felt like I should agree with that. Again, internalized racism is a bitch. But when The Chronic 2001 came out, like, this was the first time that I really started to feel like I could connect with black culture, because I started to experience the United States, the U.S. experience on racism. Like, I actually started to experience that. I started to run into people being rude to me just simply because I was black. Like, it didn't matter about anything else. It was just like I was black. And so that answered any and all questions that they had about me. I began to experience things just like not being able to enjoy or like something simply because I was black. It was like, oh, you can't like the X Games, you are black. That's not a black thing. And I didn't understand that. But when The Chronic 2001 came out, it was different, because I feel like people didn't understand. Well, you know what? I think a lot of people did. Maybe I just didn't understand. Going back, and specifically a lot of people in my small town didn't get it. But looking back on it, it's because like this album was such a game changer, because it brought back together like Snoop and Dre. They'd had a falling out. It really brought the party back into rap, because I feel like we had entered this era where essentially what was going on was like the music was no longer just music. It was real beefs were happening and people were dying, i.e. Biggie and Pac. So we had people actually dying, and it was supposed to be music, you know what I mean? So this comes out and I suddenly feel like I get it, you know what I mean? Like, I understand a lot of the situations, but like I also began to like connect with my culture and be able to feel accepted. One of my favorite tracks on that album is what's the difference? Like, I love this so much because, like, I like Exhibit. This was, like, the funny thing about this is, like, when Exhibit's verse comes through, I was like, oh, yeah.
From Riddick, come and get it, shitted on villains by the millions.
I be catching bitches while bitches be catching feelings. Like,
About 5 bank accounts, 3 ounces, and 2 vehicles.
until my death, I'm Bangladesh. I suggest you hold your breath till ain't nothing left. Yo, that's a difference. So here's the thing. I love this, like, oh God, these jams so much because here was the thing. When Exhibit like came on, and I feel like this album was also the first time that I started to use the N, like that I felt comfortable and confident like using the familial N word, and it just like was kind of an amazing thing because when you're around predominantly white people as a black person in suburbia, a lot of times you will also hear the constant of like, oh well, no one should say the word, and you're like, oh, I guess you're right. I guess you're right, white person. You know what I mean? So, and then you start realizing, like, wait a minute, I'm black. I can do what I feel. Like, I don't know why you would tell me that I can't use it. And again, it's, institutionalized and at that point in time, it was very, like, I guess I could say it still is now, but very much institutionalized racism and ways to, like, police black people because, white people don't like to be told no. And so it was just, like, a cool thing for me to start feeling more comfortable and confident. It's not like, and by the way, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have to explain my usage of the word if I want to, but it was just nice because I got to actually kind of feel like, hey, I am a brown person and I don't have to like go out of my way like I was doing previously to just like completely dislike and disown rap, right? Because it's like, I'm better than that. Like, I don't need to use this kind of language and I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm black. I'm having a good time. But this is also where, and that was like when he was, like, I don't know if y'all remember this. Some of y'all do, but some of y'all are a bit too young, and that's okay. But that was when his, like, rap voice was so, like, nasally. And I remember this because everybody who was trying to, like, quote-unquote rap like M was all doing the same nasally-ass voice. Oh, Lordy.
Stop the beat a minute.
I got something to say.
Dre, I wanna tell you this shit right now.
Why this fucking weed is in me?
Well, I don't know if I ever told you this.
But I love you, dog. I got your motherfucking back. Let's know this shit. But like that whole thing was like so fun and it was such a good time. And I just remember like rolling around, for the first time in my life, feeling like I could just like, I think we used to call it ghetto blasting back then. I don't even know why, but like I was like, I don't care. Obviously it negative connotations, but I decided I wasn't going to take it that way. I was like, no, it's not. Why would we call everything that black people do ghetto? And even then I didn't understand it to the extent that I do now, obviously, right? But at the time it was just like, well, I'm just going to fall into that then because I don't care. Like y'all stay calling us ghetto no matter what. So I was just like, I'm gonna live my best life. And I started having such a good time with it. And then, obviously, you can't talk about the Chronic 2001 without talking about Forgot About Dre. Do 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 do, and then you have the beat.
Y'all know me,
Still stay OG,
but I've been low key.
hate it on. Okay. Now this track is always so fun and funny to me in a lot of different ways, and one of them is that like I used to go to this bar all the time, and me and my favorite bartender, we would rap this to each other. Like it was a thing. We would like literally be like doing this, like looking at each other, rapping the jam. I know this is very brown. See, I told y'all, if I have my foundation video up as part of my collection video, I was not lying when I told y'all like this, a little bit of this goes a long way. But I want to look like fresh faced and clean and shit for this interview, so this is what we gonna do. All right. Like this, album also makes me very happy because it reminds me of my independence. Because like this is when I, like when I started going back to this bar, I was going through my divorce and I just felt like such a bad bitch because I was like, doing things by myself and living like this kind of solo steelers life. Wasn't doing good. Who's the doctor they told you to go see?
Y'all better listen up closely.
Now I know it's gonna look like, oh my God, I have a mustache and all that shit, but don't worry, we're gonna make this work out. It's gonna go well.
It's just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre.
So what do you say to somebody you hate?
Or anyone trying to bring trouble your way?
One day I was walking by
With a Walkman on.
when I caught a guy, give me an awkward eye.
Look, strangled them off in the parking lot.
I don't give a fuck if it's dark or not. I'm harder than me trying to park a Dodge and I'm drunk as fuck. Right next to a humongous truck and a 2-car garage. Hopping out with 2 broken legs, trying to hop it off. Chicka, Slim Shady. Hotter than a set of twin babies. And a Mercedes Benz with the windows up when the temp goes up to the mid 80s. And the funny thing about that jam is that like, I feel like collectively, we all think that that's where this song ends, even though it obviously doesn't. But I feel like in our minds, we're like, yeah, okay, we're good. Because if you made it through the M verse, you were like,
I know all the words.
But that album was the gateway for me to really start listening to more rap and hip hop. It took me back into some other stuff, but we'll see if we get there with that today. I may do this again, but the next thing that happened is without Dre, I would not have like rolled up on Nelly. Like, listen, y'all, I loved this era of rap, and I feel like so many people who aren't into rap, because I think what kills me is the amount of people who've obviously never listened to rap one day in their life will say that like all rap is about shooting people and it's all violent, and you're like, it really isn't. And again, having grown up overseas and hearing that message, it became important to me to like not be a part of that culture, right? And playing respectability politics. And now, at this point in my life, I started being like, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And so when this came out, like we all know.
Hot and
So hot and hurt.
oh.
Nelly and his O's, y'all. And I feel like this era of rap was like very important because it established once again, because it had been established previously, but it really established that black people could, in fact, just have fun. Like, we don't always have to be talking about like the bad things that are happening to us. And it kind of made me feel like rap is a lot like tattoos, right? Where every tattoo doesn't have to have a fucking meaning. It can just be a good time. It can just be fun. And then when I started looking at rap like that again and seeing like all the varying forms of it, I just got so excited and realized like how much bullshit I'd been fed. You know what I mean? Like how much bullshit I had been fed and how much I believed in it. It's getting hot in here.
So take off all your clothes.
And remember, everybody would pull their bottom of their shirt. So hot, I'm gonna take my clothes out. We would all be pulling the bottom of our shirt, pulling it up a little bit, showing just as much of our belly because, we were rebellious, but not that rebellious, darling. Baby wing, baby wing. Because I'm gonna be respectable at this interview, y'all. Respectable. Oof, I'm kind of loving the way my face looks. Like, I don't care if you don't like it, I do. Who else was doing weird little chest bumps like, Was everybody doing that, or was it just me? Was I just a terrible dancer? Listen, that might be true. I also remember, y'all, like, I saw Nelly live because, like, y'all know college campuses will do this, and I went to USC, so at USC, I saw Nelly live. It was free. And when I tell y'all, it took forever to figure out which one was Nelly. It was so hard. I was like, which one of these fools is Nelly? Because, like, everybody was jumping around on the stage. And I just could not, like, and they were all kind of wearing his, like, same attire. So it was, like, very confusing. I was like, wait, which one is Nelly? I cannot see. So, like, and I just remember being there with my roommates and, like, having so much fun at the Nelly concert. And we were all just, like, out there enjoying ourselves. And it was just a good time. And it's like, because of that, like, I was able to very quickly just, like, go down the rap, the rap rabbit hole, rap rabbit hole. That just didn't sound, that's embarrassing. And then it wasn't long before I was in all of this. Stop, drop.
Shut 'em down, open up shop.
Oh, no.
That's how rough riders roll.
So I had that, DMX rolled into my life, and I was like, hell yeah, this is a good time. And obviously, you can't be there without this either. Still an anthem to this day. Woo, y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Up in here, up in here.
Listen, your ass is about to be missing. You know who's gonna find you some old man fishing? Y'all, Party Up was just like that. To this day, one of the most exciting, like if you want your party to get jumping, you know you're gonna put on Party Up. Like it is going to, definitely things are gonna happen. It's gonna be amazing. Everybody's gonna hit the dance floor and we're all gonna like, be like, stop. Like we're just all gonna be out there doing the damn thing, having a good time, and may he rest in peace. You know, we've gone too soon, but never forgotten. Like I will never forget all of the frat parties I was at with DMX on. All the movies that I watched where that comes on to like get everything hype and show that shit is about to like truly go the fuck down. I live for it, and I just had such a good time. I had such a good time. Listen, and if it wasn't for DMX, Nelly, and and Dre, I never would have found my way here. I cannot whistle.
Oh, bitch, get out the way.
Get out the way, bitch, get out the way.
Oh, no.
The fight's out, about to punch yo, lights out.
Get the fuck back, guard the grill.
There's something wrong, I can't stay still.
I've been drinking and busting too.
And I've been thinking of busting you.
Upside the motherfucking forehead.
This like move bitch to this day, y'all, listen, that this is a jam that like literally there's never a time where it comes on where I'm not like, this is appropriate. You know what I mean? Especially like when you live in cities like Texas and like you live in DFW, like that jam makes your commute sane. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to sit there and be like stressed out about your fucking commute. It's because it's so intense. Like you're just driving, there's traffic for no reason. It is the perfect song for that. And it's also like, I feel like this era too is like when you started seeing like white people would be in their cars rapping until you pulled up. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, they'd literally be sitting there like this.
Get the fuck out of my way.
It was like a movement. It was a whole thing, and I always found it was so funny. And this is where we had like Mystical. I hadn't heard, like, of course I hadn't, because I just don't, if I'm honest, like my entire life, I kind of stay in like whatever music I'm listening to at the time. So like I wasn't really paying attention. So Mystical shows up and this verse always makes me, like, gives me so much joy.
Here I come. Here I go.
That's what I do.
Hold up, wait up, shorty. Oh, what's that?
Get my dick sucked. What are you doing? To this day, I still do that. I still say like, what are you doing? Like, all because, like literally because of those bars. Like I was like, oh. And then we also got Ludacris on this jam.
Peace up, A-Town down.
Which is how I started getting more into like current R&B, not my old school stuff that I grew up with that my mom listened to. She said, baby, let's go. Listen, this jam, like in the day, and like even now, amongst people my age, listen, this is, when this comes on, we're gonna lose our shit. We really are. We like to, like, we all suddenly become 22 again and being like, yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, I used to drop it like I was so hot back in the day. Like I could just flop down, like just there was no fear that I wouldn't be able to get back up. I would just like hit the ground and like pop back up. Oh God, those were the days. And this also reminds me, like I used to have this friend Rodney. We were friends, we are not anymore, but like I used to have this friend Rodney, and this fool would always try to convince me to like jump on him whenever we were dancing. He'd be like, come on, jump, like fucking Dirty Dancing style bullshit. And I was like, bro, no, you're gonna drop me. And he'd always promise that he wasn't gonna drop me. And so foolishly, drunkenly, okay, let's be real about what was going on, I would jump. And he would fall. And I would have my goofy ass just like popping back up to make it look like that was supposed to happen. Like, what the fuck? Audra, come on now. It was very embarrassing. It was funny and fun, and I had such a good time with it, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Now, because this is a work look, I think I'm gonna be very, very careful with my unders here. Now we're gonna get grimy, because y'all know what happened with this. As soon as this song hits, like, y'all know when this track hits, we all lose it, like all of us. I am 41 years old, and you know what? I will still take the risk to drop it to this song. I really will. Like, I'm going to, as one creator on TikTok said, I'm gonna shake my booty meat. Damn you fine. Does everybody else sing it in Little John's voice? Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the world. And then when you're in front of your parents, you had to be like, remember when they just started all skeet, 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 skeet. That crawl, skeet, skeet, skeet. This reminds me of, similarly, right now, when I was unemployed, and I don't know how I had met Rodney at that time. Like we just met each other. I think I just took myself out to the bar one night because I was tired of being at home, and I had been applying for jobs, and I was also practicing my driving because my mom had stick. We almost forgot. My mom drove a stick, and I was learning how to drive stick again. So I would like drive like at night. And so one night I was like, oh, you know, there's this place, it was called Lincoln Square, and I would go there, and there was a bar in there called Sherlock's, and I would always go, and I would be out there just shaking my ass fast. Drop that ass, hey! Shake it fast, hey! I used to be throwing my ass left and right, like the best that I could throw my ass, because I don't have a lot of ass, but I would be throwing it, and I thought I was the best. And I would be like, oh, now stop! Then wiggle with it. I'd be wiggling. Listen. These songs that gave instructions were top tier, okay? Songs with instructions, top tier. Such a good time. And I just remember like back then, I would have so many like random white girls walk up to me and be like, how do you dance like that? And I was like, girl, this isn't a class, this is a bar. What are you doing? like I was gonna teach them how to dance. It was very weird. I was like, I don't know, I just moved my hips and just kind of kept going on with my life. Get Low introduced us to Lil Jon and the Ying Yang Twins, and it was just such a good time. And I always like, this was like a good era of like party rap, and I feel like it's coming back. Obviously, I think that it is based on what's happening, but it was just so fun to like get out and dance and shake my little tiny booty and think that I was just like really the shit. This was back when I would like make out with strangers every night. Well, not every night, obviously, that's a lot of making out, but every time I went out, be out there making out with strangers and like having just like this really weird time. It's a weird time in my life now that I think about it. And I'm gonna end it with a very, like an old school jam that helped me to kind of take another journey back into hip hop. And this always like starts out my day well if I need it to.
Freaking brothers every way like MJ.
I gotta say, today was a good day. The cool thing about that was, for me, was like, that was such a chill, fun song, but it also woke me up to the realities of what many Black people live through in the varying places we were forced to live and pushed into and over policed. And so I really had my awakening, and I feel like all of that would not have been possible without the Chronic 2001, and that's how we circle back. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This is the final look. Let's get in and get weird and make it as less weird. Do I look professional? Do I look professional? I like this palette. I played with it one other time. I think maybe 2 other times. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. But we're going to come in. We're going to look at everything. We're going to look at my professional ass, and then I'm going to go do my interview. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, so that is it for this episode of Makeup, Music, and Memories, where I take you down my musical memory lane. If you like this video, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up, so then that way the algorithm can continue pushing me down and I can continue doing whatever the fuck I want. As usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. Seriously, thank y'all so much. I could not do what I do without you, could not keep the bats in the belfry and the spiders in their webs. And also thank to all of you who, even if you cannot support financially, that's perfectly fine, because you watching this video is supporting me, so I appreciate that. And until next time, it costs $0 to be kind. It is so good for your soul, because if you don't take care of it, I'm sure as hell coming for yours. I promise you, I got time today. All right, XOXO. Gothic girl. What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one, but you don't do what you're supposed to do. I mean it, dog. You ever need somebody off? Whose throat is it? 369, damn you fine. Fuck you too, bitch. Call the cops. I'll kill you and your loud ass motherfucking barking dog. Just sweat up down my ball. All these bitches crawl. And when the cops came through, me and Dre stood next to a burned down house. Crawl, bitchy motherfucker. There's no way that you can save me. That's okay. Go with him, Haley. Da da. Don't get low. What? Huh? Unless you're gonna do it. Oh, girl.